They never called it a religion, but it behaves like one. It has its commandments: always be improving, always be striving, always be achieving. It has its saints, the early risers, the CEOs, the hustle influencers with perfect routines. It has its scriptures, productivity books, time-blocking planners. TED Talks whispering salvation in the form of better habits. It has its rituals: wake up at 5 a.m., take cold showers, fill the planner, crush your goals. It even has its sins: procrastination, laziness, sleep. But the worst of them all is stillness. You're not allowed to just be. You must become. Every day, every hour, every moment must be in service of something useful, something efficient, something measurable. You don't rest, you recharge, so you can work again. You don't eat, you fuel. You don't walk, you track your steps. Even your silence must be productive, filled with podcasts, audiobooks, self-help mantras. You start to believe that your value is your output, that if you're not producing, you're not worthy of existing. So you measure everything: your habits, your progress, your sleep cycles, your deep work hours. You wear devices to monitor your body, as if you were a factory machine. You rate your focus like it's a stock. You optimize your breaks, your nutrition, your relationships. Every human act becomes a strategy. Every day becomes a performance. Even rest becomes something you must earn. You don't take a nap, you biohack recovery. You don't take a walk, you schedule mindful movement. Everything is a means to an end, and the end is always more productivity. You're always on. You feel guilty when you're not doing something. You panic when your calendar is empty. You fill your time not with life, but with systems to manage life. You join the cult of output. But unlike other religions, this one doesn't offer transcendence. It offers burnout. It doesn't offer peace. It offers pressure. It tells you that you'll finally be enough when you do just a little more. One more hour, one more task, one more upgrade. But the finish line never comes. You are always behind, always chasing, always failing to reach a version of yourself that only exists in theory. The system doesn't love you. It uses you. It doesn't care if you're fulfilled, only that you're functioning. And the cruelest part? You chose this. Or at least you think you did. You internalized the gospel of hustle so deeply you forgot it was optional. Now you defend it. You evangelize it. You preach it to others with good intentions. Just wake up earlier. Just stay focused. Just stop making excuses. But what if the problem isn't your discipline? What if the system is sick? What if your exhaustion isn't failure, but proof that you were never meant to live like this? You were never meant to live like a machine. You were meant to live like a human. Messy, inconsistent, imperfect, alive. You weren't always like this. There was a time when you did things simply because they made you feel alive. You played, you wandered, you stared out of windows without guilt. You created not to achieve, but to express. But somewhere along the way, those parts of you were declared unproductive, and so they were erased, replaced by routines, systems, deadlines. Replaced by the constant noise of becoming better. Every free moment is now a gap to be filled. Every breath, a chance to optimize. Stillness becomes terrifying. Silence feels like failure. You feel ashamed for resting, ashamed for being tired, ashamed for not moving fast enough. You start to believe that your worth is conditional, measured in achievements, output, momentum. You don't know how to be slow anymore, how to be soft, how to be aimless. You forgot what joy feels like when it isn't tracked or shared. You forgot what it means to feel without analyzing. To love without managing. To live without constantly narrating your progress. You've become efficient, yes, but also hollow. You move quickly, but without direction. You climb fast, but forget what you're climbing toward. You've turned yourself into a product, polished, marketed, always improving, always exhausted. You say yes to everything just to prove you're capable. You forget to ask whether any of it matters. You don't feel alive, you feel responsible. Responsible for making the most of every second. Responsible for never wasting potential. But this weight you carry, whose is it really? Who told you that peace was laziness, that softness was weakness, that doing nothing was a sin? The system, perhaps, or maybe the voice inside you, shaped by years of repetition. But here's a truth you've forgotten. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to be ordinary. You are allowed to exist without performing. The trees don't earn their right to grow. The ocean doesn't apologize for its stillness. The moon doesn't feel guilty for shining in silence. Why should you? You are not here to impress a god of output. You are not a project, not a brand, not a machine. You are a living thing, and living things rest, living things wander, living things breathe. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply tired, and that's okay. Maybe the revolution isn't in doing more. Maybe it's in doing less, slower, softer. Maybe freedom isn't something you earn. Maybe it's something you remember. You don't need to escape the world. You just need to wake up inside it. The world that told you your worth is in what you do, not in who you are. The world that rewards you for self-destruction if it looks like ambition. The one that taught you to smile through burnout, post through emptiness, perform even when you're falling apart. But you can stop. Not all at once, not with noise, but with silence, with small, sacred moments of rebellion. You can take back your mornings, not to win the day, but to greet it. You can walk, not to burn calories, but to feel the air. You can rest, not as a strategy, but as a right. There's no metric for peace, no graph for fulfillment, no shortcut to presence, and maybe that's the point. Maybe the freedom you've been chasing isn't in doing more. It's in unlearning the lie that doing defines you. You are not a list of achievements. You are not your inbox. You are not the final form of your self-improvement plan. You are something softer, wilder, older than the culture that trained you to forget. You existed before you ever got good at anything, before your time was scheduled, before your life was optimized. That version of you still exists, buried under the performance. And every time you slow down, every time you sit in stillness, every time you listen to the quiet part of you that just wants to breathe, you get closer to remembering that your worth was never in your speed. That your soul doesn't need a system. That you are allowed to live a life that cannot be measured. Maybe the truest rebellion is this: to be fully human, to rest when you're tired, to play without purpose, to walk away from the cult of more. Not because you're lazy, but because you remember what they want you to forget. You were never meant to worship productivity. You were meant to be free,